So I think this is an important thing to cover, not because of the ANTIFA movement and their threats to overthrow the government on November the 4th. What I think is more important is issuing caution and again being a unified front. Now, honestly, most of us, there's kind of two camps to this. Most of us aren't worried about it, and most of us know that a lot of people won't do anything about it, which is fine. I think it's important to point out that there are a lot of highly trained professionals in place prepared to deal with these things. And my words of advice to everybody else is to sit back, pop some popcorn, and watch the show if they decide to do something completely ridiculous. It will be very short-lived and over very quickly. And honestly, if it comes to the violence that they're advocating for, if they're really thinking that they're going to overthrow anybody or shoot people or commit an act of subversion or violence against the government, they're sorely mistaken. And with that said, the reactions that I think should take place are such. Do not directly engage them. Also, if you see a group of them somewhere that you frequent or you're downtown or something like that, extricate yourself from the area, notify other people, say, hey, see that group of people over there? They're not nice people, let's get out of here. And observe and report. The reason for this is those trained professionals I was discussing earlier are going to need clear, positive identification, and if need be, clear fields of fire. Just like my active shooter response video and how you don't need an active shooter response kit other than maybe medical stuff, which I overlooked in my last video and some of you in the comments highlighted, having medical stuff is very important. I definitely am not advocating for any sort of direct action. I'm not advocating for any indirect action other than observe and report. Telling the good guys where to go to deal with these potential threats is important. And with that said, that's the best you can do, is say, hey, they're over here, and then they will be dealt with accordingly. The reason I'm suggesting this and not to inject yourself into these situations is there will be lots of friendly fire, and you'll also give rise to a lot of media coverage to something that will justify, the mainstream media will justify their movements based on one or a few of us or a group of us trying to stop them. So what would be important is just to have a proper response and sit back, enjoy the show, take lots of pictures, video things, document it, chronicle it. You might even be able to make money by selling it to news agencies. So just sit back, use all our cool camera equipment, and cell phones and all sorts of stuff to document it, observe, and report. The only time I think it would be acceptable to take direct action is if you happen to be in the area. Do not introduce yourself into that area, but happen to be in the area and a first responder is being overwhelmed and their death is extremely likely, and you can both prove that in a court of law and to additional responding officers. And if you're in a capacity to save that individual's life, please do so. And I would say the same for any innocent civilian that you see caught into a situation like that. If you can extract them safely and maintain their safety from that situation, that's what I recommend. But I'm going to be gone while this stuff is happening, so I'm going to rely on everybody to have a metered and proper response. I'm really no authority to be telling anybody what to do, and I'm not trying to do that as much as I am trying to urge caution and encourage providing resources to first responders that I know in my position, if I was on the ground doing what I do, the information that I would like to have so that I could be as effective as possible. If you saw a lot of the other instances where this was taking place and there was like a militia on the ground, all they did was maintain a physical barrier and provide medical assistance. So again, observe and report, medical assistance and stuff like that. Don't put yourself in a situation that I promise you, whatever your intentions are, will get ruined by fake news. You'll become a poster child for right-wing extremism, regardless of your political views and regardless of your intentions on the ground. And if you exert any force on these people, they will use you as a negative. So it's best just to let these idiots do what they're going to do. Let the local first responders and government respond, put them down, and then go from there if they decide to do anything violent. If you're in Antifa or anything like that, I strongly suggest that you avoid any sort of violence whatsoever. I cannot impart that upon you enough. Taking innocent American lives is not how you're going to affect any sort of change. If I can't deter you from that, please wear red shirts. Hopefully nothing happens. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't have any inside information or anything like that. I just see a lot of stuff going around social media. So I just wanted to try to be a voice of reason and all this other stuff. They are a legitimate threat. Don't get me wrong. I'm not taking it away from the stuff they're doing, but they don't understand what they're doing. They don't understand what they're fighting for. And because of that ignorance, they will do very ignorant and dangerous things. So if they want to do something really dumb, let it happen, sit on the sidelines. And by all means, if they start taking over local governments or they start making strongholds like ISIS would, then disregard my advice. But if they're just going to do demonstrations and be violent and cause riots or start shooting, let the professionals go and deal with it. They'll put them down quickly, and the rest of them will scatter. One thing that will help, and I mean this very seriously, is observing and reporting. So if that does happen and there's people running away, the best way to hold them accountable is to identify them and turn them into law enforcement. So either take a lot of pictures, take some video, directions of travel, what we call line 1 and 2 information, descriptions of individuals, what they're wearing, where they're headed, demographics, all that stuff. Whatever you gotta take down, whatever you can relay to law enforcement. That's what will help everyone. And putting these people away if they start doing terrible things is the best thing you can do to them, because they don't know what they're fighting for. They'll go to prison for the rest of their life. Then they'll have to deal with the fact that they did something dumb for something they don't understand. That's the best thing you can do. So, anyhow, thanks for watching. Take care. Take care of each other, especially in these weird times we live in. Buy some popcorn. Get some nice vantage points of these areas. Take lots of pictures. Stay safe. And support and defend the Constitution of the United States of America.